It's the hottest ticket in Washington this morning, $6,000 for a seat to witness history. That is the reported cost for a placeholder, someone to stand in the lines outside the U.S. Supreme Court. Inside, 9 chief justices are getting set to hear 2 landmark cases on marriage. The tickets themselves are free, but they're first come, first served, so some people have been camping out in the cold since Thursday. Others hiring college kids to do the waiting for them. They all want courtside seats for these historic high court arguments. The cases won't be televised, so opponents and proponents of same-sex marriage must be there in person to see justice at work.
I'm here because I think this is a historic moment as a gay American.
Marriage is a really big deal. It's the foundation of our society. So just wanted to come and really just see what's going to happen and pray.
Right now, there are 9 states, along with the District of Columbia, that allow same-sex marriage. 38 states don't. Today's hearings come amid a dramatic shift in public opinion, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But before we get to that, let us look live at what's happening outside the U.S. Supreme Court. You see the crowd growing. There have been people in line for days, but obviously, today is the day we'll see a crush of people, flags, various banners and placards, people representing their views both for and against same-sex marriage. Now, just a short distance in front of that live scene, we have our reporter, Lindsay Duncombe, who's going to be spending the next couple of days following these historic times in Washington. Lindsay, let's set up today's hearing, first of all.
Well, the case that the justices are going to be hearing arguments on today is Proposition 8, and that comes from California. It goes back to 2008, and that's when voters in California voted in a ban on same-sex marriage. It's interesting because same-sex marriage was actually legal for a few months in California, and 18,000 couples actually got married before the ban came into place. Now, supporters of Proposition 8 are expected to argue a traditional view of marriage, that is one between a man and a woman, and those who are opponents say that the right to get married is constitutional, it is an equal right before the law, and that because there are a discriminated group or a group of people that have traditionally been discriminated against, gay people actually deserve extra protection. This case has been going through the courts in California for years. We managed to catch up with some of the plaintiffs before they left Los Angeles on the weekend. Here's what they had to say.
Win or lose, you're all here today to talk about this, right? And generations past, we would put our lives at risk to do this. So the road has been paved for us to say you have an opportunity, you have a platform.
You have a platform. So those are the people who are at the center of this today. Come back to the public opinion point, Lindsay. There seems to be a change, an inexorable shift, really, towards support of same-sex marriage in the United States, particularly among the young. Is there a feeling there that the Chief Justices will tap into that or will reflect that?
Well, it's tough to say because there's no question there is a large degree of momentum. We've seen it in politicians, Barack Obama, the President of the United States changing his position. Several prominent Republicans have also come out and changed their position. But this is still a divisive issue in the United States. I have a map I want to show you. Take a look at how the states break down. Those green states you see, those are states that actually allow same-sex marriage. The blue states have laws regarding civil unions. New Mexico isn't clear on the law. And the red ones, the overwhelming majority, there actually have bans on same-sex marriage. So it is a divisive issue. And there are a number of different ways that the justices could rule on Proposition 8. And they could rule in a way that just affects California, leaving this up to states to determine. They could rule in a way that just affects affects those states that have same-sex civil unions possible, or there could be the possibility of overturning the ban. The question is, do the justices believe that this is really an issue for the courts to decide blanketing federally, or is it something that should be determined on a state-by-state basis? So that's sort of a big fundamental question that will be answered at the courthouse. Now, we won't get a decision until June, but you can bet the people will be listening to those oral arguments and trying to determine which way the justices are leaning.